Hi, folks. Thanks for joining us again today. We're here with Mayor Andy Berke. Thank you for joining us, Mayor.
Glad to be with you.
I know you guys are really busy over there right now, but we just kind of wanted to have you on to talk a little bit about the executive order you signed yesterday, and everything that's in it.
Sure. So let me back up just a minute as we do this. So we're facing a international health crisis that we haven't seen during any of our lifetimes. This is a really severe issue, and as we know, we've all been watching what the curve is doing and the number of cases. And unfortunately for us, we still don't really know what the prevalence is in our community because we just don't have testing. If you even if you look at the state's website today, it shows that we have 154 cases in our state. It also indicates that there's only one in Hamilton County when we know that there's 5. So we don't even have this real statewide number because that on the Department of Health website is not accurate. We do know, however, that we're following the same trend as people are around the country. And yesterday, to my amazement, 40 million Californians were placed under a stay-at-home order. That's something I never thought I would see in the United States of America, but the governor of a state said to 40 million of his residents, got to stay home. Can't do anything, can't go out except for essential purposes, and basically closed every business in the state other than essential ones. That is certainly scary to me. It's scary to all of us, but we also know that that this health crisis is something we haven't seen before. I did a call yesterday with the CEOs of the 3 hospital chains and with the head of Siskin Rehabilitation, and they're prepared for the onslaught and the possibility that up to 50%, that's a 50% of people in our region could end up getting COVID-19. And then you start doing the public health pieces of, if you start it at that, how many of them are going to need to go to a provider, and then how many of those are going to need to be hospitalized, and then how many of those are going to pass away. And we know that to make sure that they can handle that kind of crush, that we have to spread that out over the longest period of time, and that's why we're doing social distancing. I also want to make sure that we are trying to get to the other side of this crisis with as few people injured as possible, and with as much possibility that we can come back and actually ramp back up as quickly as possible following this crisis. And so taking the steps today that we know are going to be necessary, and that the later that we take them, the faster that we're going to spread the virus, to me, that just seems prudent. So last week, I declared a state of emergency. We ramped down our facilities, told as many people as we could to work from home. We escalated the number of people working from home in our organization on Monday, and tried to make sure that the essential services we're still doing, but we've ramped that down. We canceled every permit for every public gathering that we could, and closed venues like Tivoli, Walker, Memorial, and Bentley Stadium. On top of that, we continued to monitor the issues, and yesterday I issued another executive order that closed all dine-in restaurants and gymnasiums. So you can still do drive-through, you can do takeout, you can do delivery, but you can't have dine-in. The reason for that, of course, is clear. The CDC says we don't want people gathering in one place. We've seen that every location around the country, most states now have this rule. one of the last states to hold out. Of course, our state is one of them, but yesterday, Texas, which the governor had been saying that he was not going to do this, did this for the entire state of Texas. And we just need to slow the spread of the virus. Now, I will tell you that I hated doing it. I hate sitting here today looking at you, telling you that I did it. I read the emails that I got from workers in the industry last night that are affected by this. I promise you that gave me nothing but heartburn and was upset by it, and from the owners of the businesses as well. And I would not do it unless I thought this is the best way we can to prevent and slow the spread as much as possible in our community, and then hopefully enable us to come back faster when this is over with.
Absolutely. And I want to, that's one point I really want to highlight for folks too. I think we were seeing some confusion online yesterday with people. So restaurants, not all the restaurants are closed. It's a dine-in service that's closed. You can still get drive-through, takeout, delivery. And we're actually collecting a list of restaurants that are still offering those services over on ChattanoogaChamber.com. So if you have questions, if your favorite place is still operating, you can take a look over there. And I believe the city is also collecting some resources for people whose employment might be impacted by all of this. Is that correct, Mayor?
Yeah, we're collecting resources. On top of that, we're trying to add to those resources, and I think you'll hear an announcement maybe today, more likely on Monday, about what we've been able to pull together for business owners, because we, again, as I said earlier, we want those businesses to be able to make it through this so that as soon as possible, as the restrictions ease, that they're still in place, that they're able to ramp back up and to hire these individuals back, because we're going to need that infrastructure and those businesses to get back on their feet, because we're a consumer-driven economy, and so we want to help the businesses and we want to help the servers and others who are out of work.
Excellent. So do you think you could speak a little bit about, and a lot of us have been hearing the term flatten the curve a lot recently, and I know that that's the thinking that's motivating the actions that are being taken right now. The capacity that any of our healthcare system throughout this country has just can't handle that many sick people all at once, and that's what we're trying to prevent, right?
Yeah, so just to go back to the call I had yesterday with the hospital CEOs as an example. So you start doing the math of how many people are going to get hospitalized in our community, and we don't have enough beds. On top of that, it's not just about the beds for COVID-19. We're still going to have people who need critical health care for other things, heart attacks, strokes, whatever other diseases people have. And so we don't want the hospital system to be so overwhelmed that they can't handle the many different issues that people are facing. And so if we're going to have the people who are going to need hospitalization, we actually want that to occur over a longer period of time so that we don't have a situation where the hospitals are closed down and just don't have enough capacity. And I think the hospitals are preparing. The good news is they are watching what's going on in California and in Washington. HCA, Park Ridge, of course, and CHI Memorial have fellow hospitals in their systems that are out there in the West. And they're hearing from those administrators about what they're seeing, and they're starting to prepare, because again, the numbers look like their numbers out there are our numbers. Are their numbers a month ago or our numbers now? And so you can start to think, well, what does this look like in a month? And again, I pray that it doesn't look like that.
Sure.
but we got to prepare and I think make the best decisions we can today to stop a stay-at-home order for every Tennessean.
Okay. And I realize we're still early owning this. It's hard to predict anything. Do you guys have a sense at this point how long you expect some of these restrictions to stay in place?
No, I really don't. I wish I could say I
Yeah.
do. You know, we're doing daily meetings just on COVID-19. You know, my goal is to say, you know, we're going to reevaluate at the end of the month to see where we are. And as I just can't say enough. Like I hope that what we determine in a week or two is we've seen things. It looks like the numbers are okay, or somehow it's skipped our community, and so we'll say, great, it worked, whatever it might be. But
Sure.
I don't think we can predict what that looks like. I mean, I keep thinking to myself, like 8 days ago or 9 days ago, the NBA was open, the Masters was still happening, NCAA was that's 9 days ago.
Yeah.
And that seems like a year ago. And so the world that at least I'm experiencing changes so rapidly that we just have to be as nimble as possible.
Absolutely. Okay, Mayor. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time than we need to. I know you guys are extremely busy right now. I just want to say, for my part and on the part of the people we're hearing from day to day, we appreciate the work you guys are out there doing, trying to keep the community safe and help us weather this as best you can.
Thank you so much, and I hope that you, your family, and everybody else on this call stay safe. Please be careful.
Thank you, Mayor.